it from the yoga point of view, sustainability. Yoga, first of all, works on the consciousness level. It generates more awareness, not only for your physical needs, emotional and mental needs. And also, once this consciousness grows, it also brings in your surroundings. What kind of lifestyle you're leading, what kind of food you're eating, what kind of effect your behavior is having on the environment, on the world. For example, yogic diet, we talk a lot about being vegetarian. Why? Because we say that it's not only healthy for your body, it can give you a physical flexibility, it can give you the energy which you need at a much lower cost. It has less pressure on the environment if you're vegetarian and if you're eating vegetarian food. We also talk about that when you are leading a yoga lifestyle, then that whatever is coming from the nature at that region, you should consume that. That is something which God has provided you in that region under those circumstances. Intake of that is definitely going to help your body much more than what you can sitting in Czech Republic. If you're eating food which is coming from Brazil, there the nature is different, the climate is different. Here the climate is different, and it also makes logical sense that here you're taking what is there, so you're not depending, so you're sustaining the ecosystem there. So this is what we talk about sustainability.
Thanks. Let me go a little bit further into the West-East question. You've lived extensively, of course, in India, in your homeland, yes. But you've lived for many years in Europe, specifically in Central Europe, specifically in Germany. You speak fluent English, as many Indians do, but you also speak fluent German. So I guess you have a little bit more of an insight into this relationship than many people have. How would you see the differences, and how would you say that we can and should develop our mutual relationship between, in this specific case, India, Europe? Where is that going, and how should we behave towards each other?
That's a very interesting point. I love India very much, and I am very proud Indian. I see we have a huge cultural heritage when it talks about spirituality. But at the same time, West has also developed through the ages. It has gone a little bit towards the materialistic outside success in industry, industrialization, things like that. So it forgot some of its knowledge. So I think this is the opportunity part of it, if we can bring both of them together. Eastern philosophy was never against materialism. You understand? But if you talk about only one thing, then you feel unhappy, because either you're going too much materialistic, or if you're talking about spiritualism, people think that you have to give up onto your comfort and then go towards spirituality. But this is a wrong way of thinking. You can find a fine balance between the both. Right? So we have to bring the Western scientific mind to the East. All these Eastern philosophies should be studied with a scientific approach. And in the West, you need to bring in something which is there from the East, like family structure, the love for each other, the acceptance and tolerance which we have for human beings. In India, we have a lot of people. So if people who are loud, or people, when too much people at the same place, Indians are not getting scared. But sometimes in the West, we are always talking about, oh, I need my peace and something like that. So there's less of tolerance. So I think we have to find a nice balance that, we can exist together, and we can combine our this knowledge which we've gathered and bridge this gap.
Do you think that's happening?
It's happening very much. Look around, everywhere, every city I travel in Europe, even in small villages, people are talking about yoga, people are talking about Ayurveda, people are talking about Tai Chi or Qigong or some form or the other form of spirituality. When you travel to India, people are talking about iPhone 4, and they're talking about the softwares and the computer. So it's happening all the time. And we just need to combine it and make sure that we go together ahead as a global person. Now I think it's going to change in next coming years, that we have these strong borders and countries and these relationships. It's going to open up. Like 10-15 years ago, there was no EU. There were different countries, and now you see a whole umbrella of countries together with very similar law and these kind of situations. So similar kind of openness is required at a global level now. And we have now also global issues to address.
We'll need yoga, otherwise we'll get not through this. Yeah. I want to move from the very big world to the very small world. Here in Slavonice, and a very personal question. You came first here, I think, not even a year ago, and in between now and then there have been 2 retreats. Already thinking about the next one. Give me like your really personal human impression of this place and the people, because for me it's a very unique place based on history and many other aspects.
Basically, I was always interested in history. So the highlight which I find about Slavonice, this place, is that it has a lot of historical value. When I step into here, I feel that I'm in a small town which is maybe 700 years old or something, and it's not touched. And so unexplored, not too many tourists. So it has a kind of balance and peace about it. It has a special charm, and which goes very well with yoga. Nice and quietness. When you come here, when you step into Slavonice, that was my first impression. Somehow I got the feeling that I belong here, and I've been speaking to some of the students, and they say also there is a sense of belongingness to this place. And I travel also to big cities, let's say Paris, Prague, Frankfurt, Hamburg. This feeling of belongingness is missing. For me, I can maybe talk for myself. So here it sounds like I'm walking in my courtyard, my backyard of my house. So it's a very special feeling.
Yeah, I agree. Last question. Where are you going with all of this? You're going next to Berlin, you're going back to Berlin, you've got another retreat coming up, you're booked out for until 2012, I think, pretty much. What is the vision that you're following in your work and in your calling, basically relating to yoga?
Specifically to yoga, I'm trying to reach out as many people as possible. I do retreats not only in Europe, I also do it in India, so I feel at home at both the places. Long-term vision, I want to feel at home everywhere. And in yoga we say your home is your heart. So that's my final goal, that I feel peaceful everywhere with myself and also in the surroundings.
Namaste, Ashwani.
Namaste. Thank you.